In this video, we'll be learning what is the actual structure of C program. In order to execute any C program, we need to have a compiler to compile and run C programs. Before starting, I suggest you to download the C compiler and run the code side by side so that you can get good hands on programming and data structures. There are many C compilers available. You can choose an online compiler or download a compiler and install it on your machine. Here's a list of compilers you might want to check. Let's begin with the structure of C program. A C program has the following components in its structure: a header, main function, variable declarations, body, and a return value. We'll define each of these components in a minute. First of all, let's understand what a C programming structure means. We can say a C structure is a standard for writing C programs. That means we can write a C program only in this structure. We have no alternate C programming structure. The order of the components in a C structure is not changeable. We'll have to follow the exact structure and in the same sequence. So in the coming videos, any of the program that we'll write has to follow this structure. If we do not follow, our program will have a compilation error. Now let's try to understand these components starting from the header. This is the first and the foremost component of the C program. A header file is similar to any file and it contains inbuilt C function declarations and macro definitions to be shared between several source files. These terms might be hard to digest at this moment, but as we go along with this course, you'll understand each of these terms. Just for now, understand that it has to be there. A header file has an extension .h. Some of the examples of C header files are std.def.h, stdint.h, stdio.h, maths.h, string.h. As already mentioned, these files contain function declarations. For example, if we consider math.h header file, it will contain mathematical functions in it like sine, cos, log, square root, power, exponent, etc. Now you might be wondering, why is there an opening and a closing bracket at the end of each function? I'll be explaining this when we'll discuss the concept of functions in C programming. So the syntax to include a header file in C program is hash include, and within these symbols we write the name of the header file. For example, hash include stdio.h, hash include math.h. Each of these files contain their own function declarations. The next part of the C program is to declare the main function. The compilation of every C program starts from this point. The syntax to declare the main function is int main, then we write opening curly bracket and closing curly bracket. The piece of C code is written within these curly brackets. For example, if we need to add any two numbers, the code for addition is written within the main function. Now coming to the next part, we have variable declaration. What it actually means is, if we need to perform any C operation, whether it's addition of two numbers, accessing memory location, or storing a value in a memory, we first have to allocate a memory location and then name it so that we can access the location using the specified name and use it for performing various operations during the execution of C code. Without declaring a variable, we cannot use it in C program. The most important thing to note is we can declare variables within C at any time. Also, the variables are to be declared before any operation in the function. The syntax for variable declaration is written within the curly brackets of the main function. We write data type, then variable name. Here, data type means what kind of value a variable can store. For example, int x or float y, which means x can store an integer value and y can store a decimal value. The keywords int and float are called data types. We'll discuss the data types in future videos. Body of a function in C program refers to the operations that are performed in the functions. It can be anything like manipulation, searching, sorting, printing, etc. The code for performing any operation is written within the body function. For example, if we write main function and then write any two statements like int a and a printf statement with message this is the body of the function, these two statements will be considered as the body of the function. Next we have return statement, which is written as the last statement of the main function. The return statement refers to the returning of values from a function. This return statement and return value depends upon the return type of the function. For example, if the return type is void, then there will be no return statement. In any other case, there will be a return statement and the return value will be of the type of specified return type. This might be hard to understand, so let's try it with this example. At the beginning, we wrote int main, which means the program will return an integer value. Since the main is the default function of C program, therefore, if we write int main, we are supposed to return a value that is of integer type. So, in the last line of the main function, we write return 0, which is sent back to the operating system, and it means successful execution of the main function. For any function other than main, suppose if we need to perform an addition of two numbers, we'll create a function, let's say add, with return type int and this piece of code for addition. In the last line, we'll write the return statement. This function will return a value that will be equal to the addition of these two numbers. There is no need to worry. Once we discuss about C functions, you'll be able to grasp more of it. So this was all about structure of C programming. In the next video, we'll discuss about the flow of execution of C program.